Just watch this. This is going to come up in here. Look at this. Here we go. Here we go. Just look at that. That is superb. That is our mashed potato flatbread. Look at that. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today, flatbreads. So pliable, so delicious. They are amazing. If you eat curries, you eat chilies, you eat anything, tortillas, you make wraps. These are fantastic. No knead, no resting, all made with mashed potato, flour, some water, some coconut oil. I'm using coconut oil, but you can use normal oil. Come on, let's get on. Let's do it. Okay, in here, all-purpose flour or plain flour. Mashed potato in there. Use leftover mashed potatoes or anything. Right, it's a little bit lumpy. We're just going to give it a mix in with that flour. Just sort of like loosen up those lumps. You don't have to because we're going to blend this. I'm just going to give it a little head start because I've blended before and there's always been a sneaky amount of mashed potato hiding in the bottom. But not to worry. So we're just going to get this all smoothed out. So like I say, this is an optional step, but I have been doing it regular just to give me a head start. And of course, this can be done in a food processor. Of course it can. Just get it in and whiz it up. There we have it. That's our mashed potato mixed in with our flour. And yes, there is a couple of little lumps, but they should dissolve, not a problem. There we go. Right, coconut oil. I'm using coconut oil just for flavor and everything in here. Now you can use ordinary oil, don't stress. Now we do need to go in with a little bit of salt, as much salt as you like, but up to a teaspoon. We want about a teaspoon of sugar in there. Okay, so while we're making this is not on the internet anywhere. This is a first. If you do like what we're doing, it will be fantastic, and I would be grateful if you would smash that like and subscribe. And if you do like what we're doing, don't forget, share with your friends. Okay, let's crack on. In here I've got water. Now don't forget, the full recipe is always in the description. Now you can give it a mix to start it off, and then we're going to blend it. I'm going to blend it with a stick blender just so you can see what we're doing. But you know, you can blend it in a stand-up mixer, not a problem. And we do have to blend it because if you look in here, we've got bits of mashed potato. Now don't forget, this can be made with gluten-free flour and all that carry on. So this makes this very healthy flatbreads. Very healthy indeed. Okay, I've got a stick blender. Like I say, we're just going to give it a whiz up. Get that up there. There we go. Okay, take yourself a pan. Just a small pan for this, you know. You get a bigger pan, it's entirely up to you. You can go smaller. Right, we're using a ladle. I'm going for this big ladle. I know this ladle holds about 78 to 80 milliliters of fluid. This one holds about 60. Common sense, you get less flatbreads with the big one, but they're bigger than if you use a small ladle. So it's entirely up to you. Out of this mix in here today, we're going to get 10 good ones at least. Okay, we might get 11, but I don't think we're going to get 11. Okay, we're going to get 10. Nice and steady. Pan on. Little bit of oil. Any oil or even butter. A splash. And that is all the oil we're going to use for the whole process. Now when I say this is the first on the internet, this recipe definitely is the first on the internet. There are many pourable type flatbreads. Some work, some are a con. This is going to work right in front of your eyes. So that oil, rub around the pan. Keep that just in case we have to rub any more. But we're not using any more oil, and as you can see, it's got a film on in there only. Get the flame on. Heat up the pan. This is where you learn to control the heat of your pan. And it's not hard, it is practice, and the first one's usually a mess, as per usual when you're making pancakes, exactly the same. The only problem with when you're making this type of, I was going to say roti, but when you're making this type of flatbread, if you heat the pan too much, it seals and slides all over, it breaks up in the pan. You have to be careful, and you'll see what I mean. So we're heating the pan, and we're going to come down a little bit on heat. We don't need it too hot. I've got a tea towel, this will do. I can smell the oil, and you probably won't be able to smell the oil at home unless you cook all the time. I can smell the oil, and I can sense that that pan is quite hot enough. Now I'm going to come down on flame. Also, I am not going to put this batter in on the flame. We're coming off the flame, look, we're above, and we're going to put the batter, I'll go over here, we're going to put the batter in there. We're going to whiz it round nice and gently, but not on the flame. And I can tell you that this one is a little bit thick, I think, to start off with. But no worries, we're on. There you go, first one in. Leave it. Just leave it alone. Now what happens is the batter starts to go transparent. Now that is the potato starches in the mashed potato. Just leave it alone. And we don't need it too hot for this. Okay, so this is where you learn to control your heat. Got a few bubbles in here, look. So it's actually starting to go transparent around the outside. Now this is not a quick cook. This is one of those where you make your wraps, your imitation chapatis, your flatbreads, and you put them to one side. Do they freeze? Yes, they do. They freeze very, very, very well. Now you can see it's gone transparent, and the whites are starting to come in as it cooks. Now the only thing with these, they stick to start off with. You don't worry. Okay, you can't move it. Now you can now, look. You can't move it at first. It has to naturally release. So now we've got a naturally released flatbread, but there's absolutely no way it's cooked on that other side. Now practice, and you'll see that when the white of the batter has been cooked out, and it cooks out on this side, turn it over. It doesn't take very long, but you have to look at it and see, and it still won't be cooked on the other side. We're going to have to flip it a couple of times. Now you can flip it like a pancake, or you can flick it with a slice, or just slide it to the edge of the pan and turn it over. Whichever you do. So the white has gone. Now we're going to slide that there like that, look, and we're going to flip it. Now can you see it is not cooked? Okay, now we're starting to cook. Okay, we're cooking through from the other side. What you need to do is grab yourself some tissue, because you won't put your hand in here in a minute. Okay, and what you've got to do is make sure your hand is inside a tissue or kitchen towel. Okay, it doesn't matter which you do, but what we need to do when we flip it back again in a minute, we're going to press down lightly on the flatbread. And what you have to have one of these for, obviously this is hot, you don't want to be pressing that when it starts cooking. However, it can pop from the other side and release steam. Now obviously the steam's going to burn, but it's not going to burn like this. You are covered. or a towel. You are covered. Okay, and now what you need to do is flip it over. Just flip it over. Now I'm looking at this, and if I turn it round, that there is quite thin, and it's quite thin there. Okay, so that is probably going to burst through with the steam. Don't worry about it, just watch your hands. So you can hold that there a little minute and just nice and gently press down. Don't press hard, just nice and gently. We're just trying to cook the other side and cook through, to puff up the air inside, to cook it all the way through. And we're going to flip it again, and we'll probably flip it back again, but don't worry about it. This is what I say, this is not a fast cook. Okay, this is how to make your flatbreads, and then you eat with your curry or whatever. Okay, but they do freeze. This is nice and soft. So again, you can flip it over and you can see it's starting to cook, but it's not cooked. Okay, we're on a low flame. Now you can increase the flame, and now you can see it's starting to puff up a little bit. You can give it a little press down, nice and gently. It is absolutely so simple to make perfect flatbreads. There's no yeast, no nothing, it's mashed potato and flour. So it's coming up, look. We're going to go back over on this side. Nice and gently, and it will puff up. Now if it doesn't puff all the way up like a balloon, so what? Okay, don't have any problems. See, this is puffed up, and if I flip that round there, I don't want to burn it actually, but if that is very thin there. Okay, but look at that, that is puffed up beautifully in that pan. You can flick it back, you can puff that up again. Look, it's all puffed up now. It is so easy to make perfect mashed potato flatbreads. Really, really easy. That is puffed up, look, and that's like a pita bread now. Look, can you see? That has got a pocket in there where you could pull it apart and you can make a pita bread out of this. Okay, what we're going to do, that comes out, that goes on there. Flame, control the heat. Don't go crazy with the heat, because this will slide with the potato starch. Okay, people don't tell you this. So in we go. All we got to do is just leave it like we did before. It loosens itself up, we give it a little twizzle, not a problem, and just flip it over. Now you already know it's not going to be cooked, but we just got to keep pressing it down. A little press down, don't push too hard. We're going to flip it back again. You can flip it as many times as you like, it doesn't matter. Just flip it over, and that cooks through from both sides, and then you can see it starting to bubble. When it starts to bubble, all we got to do is just press it. Press it lightly and it will rise. It will balloon up. Just watch this. This is going to come up in here. Look at this. Here we go. Here we go. Just look at that. That is superb. That is our mashed potato flatbread. Look Look at that. When you get really cocky and you know what you're doing, straight in the middle, little twizzle, John. As easy as that. All we're doing is making pancakes, really, you know, and then just leave it alone. Now, what I will add, here's a little tip. Sometimes you might get an air bubble come through. There's none on here, but if, let's say there's an air bubble there and it's popped open, take a spoon, take some of your mix and just dab it on, like that. Don't worry, it's only a batter. When you flip it, it's cooked. Okay, so it's going to seal it all. Don't forget, we need it to be sealed to puff. If it doesn't seal, that's what you're going to do. But you can only do it at this stage. Don't do it after you've flipped it. So we didn't have to do that because there was no air bubbles, but there you go. There you go, that's job done. Even the last of the drips in the pan used up for that small one. Absolutely perfect. Just look at those. They are absolutely, it doesn't matter which one you choose. They are so pliable, so soft. That is mashed potato. Look at that. That is superb. Fantastic, fantastic flatbreads right there. Now, they're not like a texture of a flatbread, which is bread. These are very supple because of the mashed potato inside. Okay, these are fantastic to reheat. They reheat the same. They don't dry out. These are perfect. Perfect for dipping in curries or anything. Wrapping up. Use them as wraps. Put anything in. Roll them up. And sensational. They are superb. Okay, it's not a chapati, it's not a wrap, it's not a tortilla. It's a mashed potato flatbread. Fantastic. Very versatile, very supple. I'm sure there are 1,000 ways you can actually use this with your recipes. Delicious. If you like what we're doing, don't forget, share with your friends. Tell them how easy it is to make the mashed potato flatbread. So supple, delicious. And if you do like what we're doing, don't forget, smash that like and subscribe. Catch you in the next video. And ring that bell.